Hi, welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Dr. Farah Laurent. Today, I want to talk to you about the new Nurse to Dream Role webinar. A lot of people have been asking me, what is this webinar? Who is it for? Why should I attend? What's going to be discussed? So, today, I'm going to break it down and explain it all so that you guys know. And it's happening actually today at 1 p.m. Eastern. So you still have time to sign up. The link is in the bio and also in the description below this live. So if you happen to be on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, just go to the link and the link is in the bio. Or you can simply go to newnursejob.com to sign up for that webinar today. Okay. And who am I? And why should you come to this webinar? So, my name is Dr. Farah Laurent. I've been a nurse for over 20 years, started my career in emergency medicine, went into education, and then leadership. However, the reason I'm hosting this webinar is because 20 years ago, while I was in nursing school, a clinical instructor asked me once, "What type of nurse do you want to be?" And I said, "I want to be an emergency nurse." And she literally laughed in my face. This was a clinical instructor, an educator that was supposed to be supportive and inspiring. But of course, she was not. She literally laughed in my face and was like, "It'll never happen. You'll never be an emergency nurse and you should stick to med surg." So that day, I promised myself that I would later go into education and create content and create an environment for new graduate nurses to feel that they can accomplish anything they want and that they can get their preferred specialty right out of school. And that's what I've dedicated these last 20 years of my nursing career to do, is to support new nurses. 5 years ago, I started my own business, Farah Laurent International Nurse Coach, where I am a nurse career coach specifically for new graduate nurses. Do I help other nurses also secure positions? Absolutely. I help nurse practitioners. I help people get into education and leadership. But truly, my heart belongs to the new nurses because I'm essentially helping my younger self. So when all my clients get jobs in the ICU or the ER or labor and delivery or NICU, you name it, it's like me getting a job again, back when I was a nursing student getting into the ER. Okay, so this is what this webinar is about. I talk to hundreds of nurses every single month from all over the US, all over Canada, and many new nurses are struggling when they get out of school or as senior nursing students, struggling with the job search process. They don't know how to create a resume that stands out. They don't know how to create a cover letter. They don't know how to interview with confidence. And some of them, like maybe you that's watching right now, maybe you're struggling to even get to the interview phase. Like you are simply not actually getting any interviews. And maybe you've been applying for months. I'm talking 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or even up to 12 months, especially in areas like California and New York, where it's just more competitive. A lot of nurses are really struggling. So this is why I created this webinar called the New Nurse to Dream Role webinar, where I host it for about an hour. I share strategies, frameworks, and I also share success stories of past clients who I've specifically guided to get into these preferred specialties like the OR, the ICU, the ER, NICU, places where they're still telling you that you can't get into as a new nurse. But I don't subscribe to that narrative, and I don't want you to have to settle for anything less than what you really want, okay? And I have proof. Over 200 nurses that I've guided have gotten exactly what they wanted. And they're getting hired in record time, in less than 90 days, less than 3 months. So this is why I created, like I said, the New Nurse to Dream Role webinar, where I actually reveal the real truth, the real reasons why you are not getting to the interview stage and why you're not getting hired A lot of these nurse managers and recruiters simply do not have time to go back and tell you why they did not select you for the position. And then some of you get frustrated, you feel ghosted because you keep getting rejection email after rejection email and you don't know what you're doing wrong. So, this is why I created the webinar. Okay, so literally, it's a live webinar, it's not recorded. Nobody gets the replay. So you have to attend and you actually get the opportunity to ask questions. You can ask any question you want while you are on the webinar. I give you the opportunity to ask a couple questions in between the different things that I present. And then at the end of the webinar, for those who are interested, I present my new Nurse to Dream Role coaching program. It's a program specifically designed for new nurses, but this coaching program is very exclusive. It's not for everybody. So I only present a high level of what it looks like. And for anybody that does meet criteria on the webinar, I give you an opportunity to actually book a one-on-one call with me if you do meet the criteria to move forward to learn more about the coaching program. So that's what the webinar is about. And again, it's at 1 p.m. Eastern. And for all my people out on the other coast or all my Cali people, it'll happen at 10 a.m. PST. And it's free. Anybody can join. And the link is in the bio. And then, of course, if you can't find it for some reason, you can simply go to newnursejob.com. Okay. And then I'll put it up right here so you guys could see it on the actual screen. And then for those that are on TikTok, what's up, everybody just joining me? The link is in the bio on TikTok. So if you want to join, you can simply go there. There is still time to join. And I do have some slots open. But when it fills up, that's it. You'll have to wait until the next one. So I highly recommend that you go and sign up now. newnursejob.com. So let me know, y'all, if you are watching, if you have any specific questions about the job search, about what's going on in your city, what you're struggling with as a new nurse, drop it in the chat. Even if you happen to be watching this in the future and it's the replay and you're like, can I still apply, sign up for this webinar? Absolutely. You could still sign up even if you're watching the replay and you missed the webinar. You could still sign up and then you'll get an opportunity to join the next one. And then you'll get notifications by email about when we're actually going live. So don't feel like, oh my goodness, I missed it and that's it. Just sign up and then you'll get notified when the next one does happen. Okay. So I want to give you a couple stories, right? Case studies of people that actually attended my webinar and what it did for them. So one particular nurse, she sometimes comes on here on either TikTok or LinkedIn, but her name is Josephine. She was from New York. She joined my webinar. And then we had one quick conversation after the webinar. She was really interested in labor and delivery. I gave her one piece of advice and I told her to follow it and I told her to do it that day. So she did. She followed up. She did it. She reached out to a nurse manager. I told her exactly what to say and how to do it. And then a couple of days later, she reached back out and I followed up with her to see what happened. And she actually got the job offer. She got a job offer at a labor and delivery fellowship for new grad nurses. Okay. So that's the power of just spending an hour to literally get strategies and frameworks where literally one piece of advice can literally change your nursing career and can literally change your life. So I just spoke to her a couple of days ago and she says she loves it. She's really enjoying it. And this is really like her dream. And this is somebody that didn't even join my coaching program. All she did was come to the webinar and invest 1 hour of her time to meet with me. Okay. So That is a huge success story. Okay. And then I have another story about Emily, who had joined my webinar. She had seen me on TikTok originally, joined my webinar, and then she was like, "Hey, I have an upcoming job fair that I'm really excited about, and I really want to get a NICU position." Emily had been waiting, I think, 5 months. She kept applying and nothing was happening. She did have a NICU interview, but it didn't go so well, 5 months prior. So she joined the webinar. She found it really valuable. We had one conversation and then she was hesitant at first, but then she was like, okay, cool. I really am committed. I want to invest my time and money into this program because I really want to get into the NICU. So, needless to say, she joined the program within less than a week of me working with her to prep her for her interview skills, specifically for the job fair. She walked into that job fair super confident, looking fresh to death because I told her exactly what to wear. A cobalt blue suit. I'm always talking about cobalt blue and really how to really impress. So she walked in. It was a room full of people. She was the only one wearing that bold blue color and she stood out. Okay. So I told her what to do. I told her to arrive early and to directly go to the NICU station. And again, some of these job fairs, you're not guaranteed anything. You're not guaranteed an interview, but I told her specifically how to approach them, what to say, and to treat it like an actual interview. And that's what she did. She was so ready, so prepared that she did so well that she actually got a NICU offer just from going to the job fair. Okay. So, y'all, do not sleep on these job fairs. You might think, oh, is it even worth going to a job fair? Yes, it is. Because you can leave that job fair with an actual offer in hand if you know what you're doing. So, this is why, as I mentioned, I really strongly recommend that you attend this webinar. And it's today, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. PST. So let me know who my new nurses are in the chat if you're watching. If you're a senior nursing student, you are also welcome to attend because that is the time that you should be applying to nurse residency programs. I don't know who's telling you that you have to wait, but you don't. I have helped new graduate nurses literally get hired days after graduation. And some nursing students actually land offers while they're still finishing up school. Okay. So it is possible. And I understand like some hospital systems are super strict and they won't hire you if you haven't passed your NCLEX or if you don't have a licensing number yet. But that's not all the health systems. A lot of health systems, a lot of hospitals will actually hire you while you are still a nursing student. Okay. And a big tip for all of the students that are currently in their last rotation on their clinical units, this is the time to level up. This is the time to take advantage while you're on your clinical units. So let's say you are in the ICU and you're doing your last preceptorship, your last rotation. That is the time to get bold and to literally go up to the nurse manager and have a conversation and say, hey, I'm about to graduate. I really love this unit. I would love an opportunity to interview and to work here. Can you give me any tips? Can you give me any guidance? Can I have your email? Can I have your phone number? Like get their card. Because when I graduate, I would love to have an opportunity to work here. That is the time to start networking and to start having those conversations. Not when you leave and then you're sitting at home trying to now contact these people and you don't have the direct contact. Okay. So take the opportunity while you are in your last semester. Let's say you're like, oh my God, Farah, like I'm not even on my preferred specialty. Like I picked the ER, they didn't put me in the ER, or I picked ICU, they didn't put me there. I picked L&D and I ended up somewhere else, like med surge or whatever, and you don't like that unit, it's okay. Talk to your clinical instructor and say, hey, listen, this is my last semester. I really wanted labor and delivery, or I really wanted ICU. Can you do me a huge favor and walk me up to the nurse manager in the ICU, or the nurse manager in labor and delivery, or pediatrics, or whatever? And can you make an introduction for me? Because I would really like to meet them and talk to them about my interest about working there. Use those connects so that you can go there. Okay. And let's say maybe your clinical instructor, maybe you don't get along the best. Maybe you're not like really close, or you feel super uncomfortable asking. Totally fine. What I would do is just, when you're done your shift, whatever your clinical rotation, just literally ask for permission, or like just go and walk up to that unit and say, hey, I'm a student at this particular university. I just finished my shift on whatever, and I just wanted to come here and introduce myself, and then just take it from there. Okay? Because those who take action, those who make things happen for themselves, are the ones that are going to get hired faster. The people who are the most confident, right, typically are the ones that get hired. And I don't care. You could be shy, you could be scared, because, when you're a nursing student or a new grad, I know you're not as confident as you would like to be, and you're shy or whatever. But if you want to get hired, you got to do things that other people are not willing to do. And this is exactly what I teach in the webinar. So again, if you're just joining me, shout out to everybody on TikTok, shout out to everybody on Instagram, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. And if you happen to be watching the replay, shout out to you as well. I host this webinar. The way you can join is at newnursejob.com. The link is in the bio on TikTok and all the other platforms. Simply go there. It'll have a date. So if you go now, you'll see a calendar with July 23rd. Click that date. You'll see 1 p.m. Eastern. Click that, and then it'll give you the opportunity to fill out a quick form, which is just your email, your name, and your phone number. And then once you fill that out, what will happen is you'll get a confirmation thank you email saying, yes, you're registered for the webinar. And then you'll actually have a link inside of it, a Zoom link, that you could attend the webinar. Make sure you add it to your calendar so that you don't forget. You also will get email reminders. And then make sure you check your spam, or check the promotion section of your email, because sometimes it'll go in there. Okay. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I don't see any questions yet on TikTok, or wherever you're watching from, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. If you have any specific questions, shoot me a message or put it in the chat right now. Let me know if you're a new nurse, currently actively looking for your preferred specialty, or looking for a preferred residency program. Let me know in the chat any specific job search questions you have. You can drop it there, or any questions about interviewing or anything like that. Also, if you do get the email and join the webinar, if we have time, sometimes what I do is I will pull up someone's resume of whoever attends, and we'll actually do a resume audit for you live and give you feedback right then and there. Okay? Because that's something that I get asked about a lot. Like, hey, can you look at my resume? Can you give me some pointers on my resume? So if you attend this webinar, you might have the opportunity to get your resume audited in real time so you can get feedback. Okay? All right, so we have about 7 minutes. Again, the reason I created this webinar is because there was a big ask I would constantly always get nursing students and new grads coming to me and asking me, hey, how do I stand out in the job search process? How do I stand out when I'm interviewing? Whether I'm on a panel interview or doing a one on one interview, what should I wear? How should I do my hair? What should my makeup look like? Like down to those details. And you're not going to find a lot of that stuff online. Okay. And a lot of people will say, well, I have an upcoming interview and I'm just going to prepare like a day or two before the interview. Wrong. Okay. If you're waiting a day or two before your actual interview to start prepping, not a good idea. Okay. My recommendation is that you actually start prepping for your interview weeks in advance. Okay. I just had a group coaching session with all of my clients that are in my group coaching program. And yesterday we went through some clinical style questions that they should know. And I actually have a YouTube channel called The Nursing Dose with Farah. You can check it out under videos. I have a ton of videos specifically for new graduate nurses. And in fact, one of them just hit 12,000 views. So super excited about that. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go check it out. I drop one video every week and it's super valuable. So in that video, I talked about clinical style questions every new grad should know. And I break down how to answer them. And it's almost like I'm also taking you back to school a little bit about some of the common things that you should know, like sepsis, stroke, chest pain, ST elevation MI versus and STEMI, all that stuff. And then I also break down how to assess patients, how to determine if a patient is stable versus unstable. So I break all that down. And of course, my background is emergency medicine. So that's what I did for 13 years. And I worked in level 1 trauma centers. Also was a preceptor to many, many students and many new graduate nurses in the emergency department. I was also a travel nurse. I was a TNCC instructor, which is like a trauma instructor. So I know a little bit about the emergency and how to assess patients. So this is what I bring to my clients. So when they ask me like, hey, what clinical style questions do you think they're going to ask? We literally go through it and I grill them to literally what labs they should know, signs and symptoms, interventions, and how to evaluate patients. Okay. Because I think that's a big mistake most new nurses make. They don't think that they will get asked clinical style questions, but you will be asked clinical style questions. Okay. I'm not saying in every single interview, but I would say 90% of the time, they will ask you a clinical style question. They're going to ask you a priority type question like, hey, you have these 3 patients or these 5 patients. Which ones would you see first and why? Because they want you to rationalize out loud and give your thought process about who you're going to see and why. If you can't do that, it's going to be a problem and you're not going to move on to the next phase. You're not going to get hired, especially if you're going to a critical care area like the ER or the ICU, where all you're seeing is high acuity patients. Of course, they're going to grill you on the interview. Okay. I know because I used to interview candidates. I was part of hundreds of interviews and they will ask you interview clinical style questions. Okay. Recently, I talked to somebody that said she was going to an ICU interview and they asked her about sepsis and they got so granular. Literally, they're asking her questions about like patho and all. I mean, that it was a little bit much, but this is what it is. You might get lucky and you might get some like superficial little clinical question that's not that deep. But then you might have somebody that literally presents you an EKG and a case study and is like, what's happening and what would you do? And it happened to another girl, new grad. who was, I believe it was Cedars-Sinai, who literally put up an EKG and a case study and was like, what would you do next? And she was clueless because she wasn't expecting it. So this is the reason why I say prepare for your interviews. And this is the things that I break down in my webinar, the New Nurse to Dream Role webinar. And it's happening today and it's free. Okay. And you have the opportunity to ask any question you want at the end. And you'll also get the opportunity to potentially book a one-on-one consultation with me if you do meet criteria. And if you're interested to learn more about my New Nurse to Dream Role coaching program. Again, it's not for everybody. And yes, it's a paid program, but that's the coaching program. This webinar is free, free 99, free. Okay. So definitely sign up at newnursejob.com. You will get the tea, the inside scoop, things that I don't typically share on YouTube or here. I will dive deeper and tell you exactly what you need to know to stand out in your next interview, to stand out in the job market. Even, yes, if you are in a competitive area like San Francisco or New York City, all of these strategies and frameworks will work. You know why? Because 80% to 90% of my clients are from San Francisco and the New York City area. And they're getting hired in record time, in less than 3 months, most of them, at big hospital systems like Stanford, Kaiser, Sutter, Cedars-Sinai, NYU, Northwell, you name it, and everybody in between. Okay, I work with people in Texas, everywhere. But I just want you to know that it is possible. It is possible for you as a new nurse to get exactly what you want. Don't listen to the hype. Don't listen to the negativity. Why did you go to nursing school? Just to settle for something that you don't want. Okay. If you don't want to work in long-term care, you don't have to start there. Okay. If you don't want to work with adults and you want to work in pediatrics or you want to work in the NICU, why not? It is possible and you can get what you want. Okay. So this is what I cover, as I said, in this webinar. Super excited to see all you guys there. Sign up. It's happening today at 1 p.m. So that's literally in like an hour and a half. And if you're on the other coast, it's happening at 10 a.m. PST. How do you sign up? You go to newnursejob.com or you go on my TikTok, people. The link is in the bio. So simply just click the link, register. Like I said, you'll see a calendar. You'll see today's date, July 23rd. Click on it. Click on the time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and then it'll prompt you to put your name, email, phone number, and then that's it. Then you'll get an actual email. Make sure you check your spam. Make sure you check your promotion section, and it'll be there. The Zoom link will be in there and instructions to add it to your calendar so that you don't miss out on this free webinar. Okay. Who is this webinar for? Any senior nursing student, any new graduate nurse looking to get hired faster and who is tired of getting rejection after rejection. And I'm going to share my frameworks that I actually have in my coaching program directly on this webinar and give you the real tea, the in and out of how to get hired faster. And I'm going to reveal the real reasons why you're not getting interviews and not getting offers. Okay. So come, let's hang out for an hour. It's going to be super fun. It's not going to be boring. And you'll take away a lot of value. So I hope to see you there. And again, if you're watching the replay, don't worry, still click on that link and you will see the next webinar. And you can sign up for that. All right. Let me know if you all have any questions. Drop them in the chat. I'll come back and look at them and make sure I answer all of your questions in the chat. All right. I'll see you in a little bit, y'all. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.